I was born in Scotland. I was actually born just outside Glasgow, as we call it, over there in Scotland. And really, I mean, I always remember as a kid drawing and painting, but really when I was a kid, I either wanted to be an actress because I was always larking around, and I was probably the cheekiest one in the class, always kind of playing with the teacher. When I went to high school, or grammar school as we call it in Britain, I was in my second last year to graduating, and I had a free period. I had 2 free periods. And the principal said I couldn't have 2 free periods. I had to choose something to fill up that time. And he gave me the choice of either home economics or art. And I said, no way am I doing home economics. So I went into the art class. And I loved it, and I had a great art teacher. But this art teacher really convinced me to put a portfolio together. And I went, well, why not? I'm in the art class, I'll put a portfolio together. And so I made a deal with myself. I went, you know, why not apply to art college? And if I get into Edinburgh College of Art, because that at that time was the most difficult college to get into, I made a deal. I said, well, if I get into Edinburgh College of Art, I'll go. And somehow or another I got accepted, so I went to art college. To cut a very long story short, I ended up working for a while with an amazing company called Theatre Workshop in Edinburgh, where I was working with other artists and musicians and actors. And we would go off into community areas where we'd been invited and actually produce projects. And these projects could be around painting a mural and then doing a celebration. So not only was I painting, I had to learn how to perform. And it kind of went back to my early childhood in a way of always wanting, in some ways, having this thing about being the performer. You know, having taken what I learned in Scotland, which is really the root, I mean, my classical training as an artist, then learning about how to take that and shift that by working in community. You know, gathering that knowledge in Scotland, which was really, it was a real movement in Scotland at that time. And then bringing that knowledge here to Santa Fe or to New Mexico and kind of honing in on it and expanding it with what I could learn here in the communities here. So really, I think my progression of work would have been very different if I had stayed in Scotland. I think, I mean, I talk about this a lot. I think there's an openness here. I mean, not only just in the land. I think the land brings an openness to the way you think, rather than being back in Scotland where everything's closed in. I think it's really expanded my way of thinking and working in community as an artist. I just had, you know, the most incredible time running workshops with a completely diverse group of people here in Santa Fe and getting to meet people that I would never have met before if I hadn't done this project, and really getting to know their lives and being part of their families. And it was really, the project focused in on the idea of journey and what happens to us as people when we move from one place to another, and what we leave behind and what we gain. And it was really asking the participants and aiding the participants to be able to tell that story through visual representation and audio stories. George and Helga Ancona did a heck of a job, seemingly, you know, inviting people to contribute to me getting this award, and everyone kept it as a total secret. So I did not know anything until I got the letter, and I was very surprised, and I feel very honored and very humbled.